Today we're going to practice adding mixed numbers. Now before we can do that, you need to remember what a mixed number is. So when a fraction is greater than 1, it can either be written as an improper fraction or a mixed number. An improper fraction has a bigger numerator than denominator. A mixed number has a whole number and a fraction together. So today we're going to focus on adding mixed numbers. So two whole numbers and two fractions together. We're going to have to use our knowledge of improper fractions, and you'll see what I mean by that. How do we add mixed numbers? So you're going to start by adding the whole numbers together. Then you're going to look at the fractions. You have to make sure that the fractions have the same denominator, bottom number. Remember, whenever you are adding fractions together, they have to have the same denominator. If they do, then you can add them together. That's what we're going to be focusing on today. Tomorrow, we're going to focus on if they don't have the same denominator. Then you're going to look at the new fraction and decide if it's improper. Again, an improper fraction is one with a bigger numerator, top number, than bottom number. If it's an improper fraction, you have to change the fraction, and then you'll add the numbers together again. Let's do an example. We're going to start with 3 1/2 plus 4 1/2. If you think about these numbers as mixed numbers, we can think about it as 3 plus 1/2 plus 4 plus 1/2. We can also write that as 3 plus 4 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. We're going to start by adding the whole numbers together. So I'm going to add my 3 and 4 together. Then I'm going to look at my fractions. If they have the same denominator, bottom number, then we can add them together. Here they do. Both denominators are 2. So I added my whole numbers, 3 plus 4 to get 7. Then I added my fractions. 1/2 plus 1/2 is 2/2. Look at the new fraction. Is it improper? If so, we have to change it. If we think about 2/2 and we draw it out, 2/2 actually equals a whole. So what we have to do is we have to change it. This is 7, because the whole number stays the same, plus 2/2 or 1 whole, and that would give us the answer of 8. So 3 and 1/2 plus 4 and 1/2 would equal 8. You can also use a picture to represent this. Let's try another one. 5 and 3/8 plus 2 and 7/8. We're going to start by adding the whole numbers again. So I'm going to add the 5 and the 2 together. Then I'll add the fractions 3/8 and 7/8. We can see again that the denominators are the same, 8ths and 8ths. If they're the same, we can begin to add them together. We'll think of 2 plus 5, 7, and then add the fractions, 3/8 plus 7/8. That would give us 10/8. Remember, when we're adding fractions, the denominator doesn't change. The denominator represents how many pieces the shape is broken into, and we didn't break it into any more pieces. We need to change 10/8 from an improper fraction to a proper fraction. To do that, I'm going to draw a picture. I drew out 10/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8ths equals 1 whole, and then I have 2 more 8ths. So 10/8 is really the same as 1 whole plus 2 8ths. I'm going to add that to my whole of 7. 7 plus 1 whole plus 2 8ths equals 8 and 2 8ths. Remember, when we write mixed numbers, that we leave a space here in between the whole number and the fraction. Now it's your chance to try to solve these problems remembering these steps.